Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We're in a little bit of a mini teaching series where we're considering the whole idea of assertiveness, how we can make assertiveness work for us in our relationships. Now you may remember at the end of my last post, I posed a question for you to consider concerning your communication style. Are you someone who is passive in the way that you communicate? In other words, when you come up against a bit of resistance, you tend to buckle too easily. Are you aggressive? Are you an aggressive communicator? Where you when you come up against a bit of resistance, you tend to get a little bit more forceful, maybe a little bit louder, and you're really fighting to get your point across. Are you a passive aggressive? In other words, when the resistance comes, you don't speak up for yourself to the person, but maybe when they've gone, you kind of complain a little bit about it, and you're a little bit more trying to make things happen behind a person's back. That's kind of being passive aggressive. Or are you assertive? And obviously that's what we're aiming at. We're trying to be more assertive in our relationships, get ourselves seen and heard by others, while at the same time trying to maintain those relationships. So what I want to do today is I want to share my first idea. So the first idea is we need to make clarity a priority and communicate with intention. We need to make sure that what we're trying to communicate is heard and understood. Clarity, we need to clarify what we're saying. And at the same time, we need to communicate with intention. So in other words, we don't want to be wishy-washy in what we're trying to communicate. Asserting yourself is making your position known to others. And it's an important part of our relationships. The idea is we want to be heard and we want to be understood. And we want the people that we're seeking to communicate with to understand what it is we're trying to say to them in our relationships. So I want to encourage you to speak up for yourself. It's really important in our relationships that we speak up for ourselves, not at the expense of others and all that kind of jazz, but we need to speak up for ourselves. And as you start to practice this, you may find it feels a little bit uncomfortable at first because it's something new to you, but I want to encourage you to speak up for yourselves. And as you do so in a thoughtful way, trying to consider the other people, but at the same time being very clear-minded as to what you want to communicate. You want the person to really know what is behind what you're communicating. You want them to really get the point, so to speak. In other words, you want to know what matters to you, and you want to clearly state it. You want to know what matters to you, and you want to clearly state it. Now, as we practice this, as we seek to get our point across, we need to do so while actively listening to the other party, the other people in their relationship. We need to be actively listening to them. As you share your needs and your desires, and as you listen to the other party, you may find they come back to you with questions. You may find they come back to you even with a little bit of pushback. If that happens, I want to encourage you simply to respect the other party. Hearing other people out, hearing their view of things doesn't mean that you need to abandon your desires. So if they come back to you with questions, if they come back to you with a little bit of pushback, simply respect them, hear what they have to say. But it's not about you giving up on what you're trying to communicate. You see, in good relationships, varying views need to be heard. Varying views are important. Your view is as important as those you're trying to communicate with. So don't just give up on what you're trying to communicate. So that's my first idea. That's my first idea on how we can be positively assertive. We need to make clarity, being understood, a priority, and we need to communicate with intention. We don't want to be wishy-washy. Anyway, guys, I hope you found it helpful, and I'll be sharing some more ideas in my coming posts. Thanks for tuning in. I'll speak to you again soon.